Let's have a bit of a race. Audi E-Tron, Model 3 long range. Doesn't sound like a sort of direct competition on a race, but basically what we've got to do, both these cars have got to go to London today, so it's just one of those opportunities where we can directly compare two vehicles. Now the race is going to be driving from here, our showroom on the south coast, both cars at 90% state of charge. We've just unplugged both. We're going to drive up to London and then we're going to recharge them. Which one is going to get back up to its state of charge first? Okay, so we're literally about to set off now. Now let me just explain the reason for this test. It might seem a strange comparison, but basically it's just one of those days we've got the opportunity to drive these two cars on the same journey. So it's a direct comparison, same weather conditions. And we're not really going to be testing efficiency in comparison. The Model 3 will be far more efficient, we know that. But the Audi E-Tron, having now been driving this for the last few weeks, charges really fast. I've been really impressed with it. Having driven a Tesla for the last 5 years, I've come to something different and I've been really impressed by it. It's been very good. So there will be other videos with more review on this E-Tron and my experiences with using non-Tesla chargers. Obviously Tesla supercharging network is so easy, it's great. But other chargers are there and they're powerful and this charge is fast. So this is more of a simulation or representation of one of those long journeys. You leave home fully charged, you drive for 2 or 3 hours until you need to go for lunch break or toilet stop. You recharge and then continue your journey. And I think this Audi could put up good competition. So let's see what happens. We're on our way on this journey now. So just whilst I'm driving, I'm seeing a little bit of traffic at the moment. I'll give you a bit of an update. So with this Audi E-Tron I'm running at the moment, it's interesting because it takes a little bit more work than a Tesla. A Tesla's very easy. You can drive across Europe without any planning. A Tesla is easy, the supercharging network is easy, they charge fast and they're extremely capable. I've always kind of resisted really owning another electric car for myself, for my case use, which is driving a fair bit when I do long distances. Because you have to rely on the third-party charging networks and the cars don't charge as fast and this kind of thing. So I'm going to do another video more about this Audi E-Tron now that I've driven it for a few weeks and covered a couple of thousand miles, which will outline charging experiences with different networks, because there's a mixed bag there and that's easily another program. So that'll be something different. So on this test, the reality is this car is impressive with its charging speed. It does charge very, very fast. All the way through is a big difference. So kind of my driving habits have changed. I think to get the most from the Tesla, you have to have a low state of battery. And then it just gradually slow down all the way through. The battery charge, as it gets more full, the charging slows. So with the battery, when you're doing a long journey on the Tesla, so on a long journey, you kind of really need to kind of run the battery right down and then do your recharging, and you kind of adopt a different technique because of that. Kind of like pit stop strategies for Formula One, but they make it easy. There's no doubt about that. They're fantastic, and I'm a Tesla fan. I still have Teslas, but I sold my Model 3 to try this car out. And where we're going to be with this car is that it charges fast until about 80%. It slows down a little bit, but it still keeps charging really fast. And actually you can complete a charge up to 100% very, very fast in this car. So it makes it more feasible that, okay, you might not have to run the battery right down, or you might not be right down, but you might as well plug it in to top up really well. So I find that you just plug in whenever suits, really. So you can drive for a couple of hours, you need lunch, you need toilet, you need coffee, plug it in, and it will really bring back up very quickly. And the Tesla's not quite so good at that. It gets the best when it's lower down. So this will be interesting. It'll be good to test this car compared to other EVs as well, and a Model X and Model S and an I-Pace and a Mercedes EQC. But the reality is, against a Model X especially, which is probably more of a comparable with this E-Tron, although this is limited to 5 seats. Obviously if you need more seats, let's do a Model X. But the reality is, if we just did a charging race against a Model X and we drove in the same distance, the Model X is a bit more efficient, but it's not massive. And if you have a Model X with the bigger wheels, again, it's really close actually. There'll be a video about the efficiency in particular, like I say, but this would just be miles ahead. It really would. So it sort of isn't really an interesting race, if that makes sense. We're doing this today because we've got the Model 3 and this car. We've both got to do the same journey, so it would make sense to do it. But of all the Teslas that can compete against this, if fast chargers are available, it's the Model 3 long range, purely on the basis that it would use far less energy to get to this point B. So I hope that explains it a little bit. It sometimes doesn't seem to make sense that we're doing these two cars, but hopefully I've explained it a couple of times now. And it will be just interesting to see the results. So let's see what happens. So I've just covered 87 miles now, down to 50% battery, leaving at 90%. Temperature's dropped actually, down to 8 degrees, and it's just started to rain, but the roads are still fairly dry. I'm going to see what the guys have got, just out of interest. Gins and Serge, what's your battery percentage now in the Model 3 long range?
So we're 58% right now.
I'm at 50%, so obviously you've got more, but I thought there would be a bigger difference, to be honest. But fair enough, okay, we'll see how we go. Not too far now until we get to our destination, another half an hour. So this Audi is actually running quite efficiently. It was warmer, temperatures have dropped, and it shows in miles per kilowatt hour. And this is, so far, average 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour. This is a 95 kilowatt hour pack in this car. The Tesla has a 75 kilowatt hour pack. So not all of it's usable. From my use of this car so far, I think about 88 kilowatt hours, roughly speaking, as usable capacity. I think it's definitely over 85, but I think about 88 kilowatt hours. Different people have different opinions. So if this was a full charge, 2.5 times 88. Not a bad range, really, is it? So it's 918. It's over 200 miles. A lot of people think the E-Tron isn't very efficient. It is a heavy car, but actually, like I say, the Model X's aren't really much different. But we're going to cover that topic a bit more on another video. It's just started pouring with rain now, so I'm going to concentrate on the road. Right, we're nearly at these chargers. We're going to use a Shell recharge.
In a quarter of a mile.
And we're up in a part of London called Sutton. So from here we're going to split off. One car needs to go on to pick up another vehicle, and one car needs to go somewhere and then straight off back home, really much more direct. So I'm going to set a challenge. The boys are really confident that the Model 3 is more efficient, will charge faster. So I'm going to set a challenge. So guys, can you see we're just going to pull in here for the recharge. Do you want to hear what the challenge is going to be?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so the way this is going to work, and I'm literally just pulling up at the charger now, is the car which charges first, should we say 90%, just to give you half a chance, that one gets to go straight home. The other car, which has to stay longer charging, has to then go on and further into London and collect the other car. How's that for a challenge? Do you accept? Are you up for that? I think I'm going home earlier, mate. No, don't you plug in yet. We're going to plug in together. Right, let's see how we go. We are parked in front of these a pair of Shell recharge stations now, both 150 kilowatts. So let's get going. Okay, so we've arrived as far as we can go before we need to branch off in different directions. We've covered 103 point something miles according to the E-Tron, 105 miles according to the Tesla long range. So we both started with 90%. The E-Tron is down to 41% of its charge left now. The Tesla Model 3 long range still has 51% of its charge. We're at this Shell recharge station, which actually says 175 kilowatt charges, which is at least the maximum a Model 3 would charge at. From my experience, at about 50% battery, the Model 3 would only pull about 100 kilowatts anyway, even if it had a 350 kilowatt charger or on a V3 supercharger. So now let's plug in at the same time, see which one gets back to 90% quickest. 100% the Audi would win that. I know it carries on charging all the way through. In fact, maybe I can get to 100% before you even get to 90%. We're going to see. We set a challenge. One car can almost go straight back just via a little detour to pick something up. The other car has to go on into central London. So Gintz is behind the camera and Serge is the passenger with him. If they get there first, they can go home. If I get there first, I'm going home and they can go on and collect the other car. Challenge set. Challenge accepted, Gins? Accepted. Challenge accepted. E-Tron versus Model 3 charging. Let's go. Okay, should we Okay, hang on. Let's go. Have you got a card to use, have you? Payment accepted.
Shut the car.
Starting session. Starting session.
0 kilowatts, come on.
Starting session. The both stage starting session. Oh, you're charging. The Audi does tend to have a longer handshake.
25, 30 kilowatts, 40 kilowatts, 50, 60, 70. Oh no. No. It stopped at 71 kilowatts.
The Audi still is doing a handshake. It does seem to take longer to do a handshake process. So let's see. And I'm off.
70 kilowatts, 69.
So you're 52% now. I'm at 42%. I've got some catching up to do, but look at this gauge. Look at this gauge. Look at it go. Oh, look at it go. Come on, Audi. It will warm up. It will actually speed up. I found that when this car gets to 50%, it actually speeds up even faster.
So 150, 67. Oh no.
So the pressure's on now. We'll film it as we go. The handshake on the Audi took a little longer. We got it so that the payment was accepted at the same time. It was within a second or so of each other. So the Audi, the handshake takes a little bit longer. We had about another 15 seconds before the Audi actually started charging over the Model 3. 45%, 54%, it's got catching up. But the Audi currently is doing 118 kilowatts. The Tesla at 70 kilowatts. Gintz behind the camera is shaking his head. 123. This will get quicker at 50%. At 50%, it normally goes to 150, but maybe they will share power. So.
Well, it will go up.
Yeah, it goes up. Yeah.
It started at 115.
Yeah, it goes up. The battery heats up and it warms up and actually starts taking more and more. I think it can pull a higher voltage or something. So I think it's down to voltage. 400. Yeah, you didn't have preheat, but 417 volts, 383 volts. You're at 57%.
Yeah. It's really easy to just plug in so you start charging. Good.
You're doing okay. You're at 57%.
So the difference was 10%.
Yeah.
Now difference is only 7.
Yeah. 21 minutes have passed. Audi E-Tron, 90%. I win. I get to go home early. Getting some surge, I'm afraid. What have you got? 70. You had 79% at 21 minutes, haven't you? We're still eating sandwiches, so we've we've literally not had a chance to finish sandwiches. So 23 minutes have now passed since we suddenly got the camera out of the car, and you have 81%. So the Model 3 is at 81%. The Audi E-Tron has now gone on to 92%. So I'm just going to carry on finishing my lunch, let it charge, and I get to go home early. Audi E-Tron wins this one for sure. Sorry, Tesla. So 33 minutes have passed since we got here. Obviously the Audi got to 90% faster. I was quite confident of that. I mean, I've used this enough times to know that it charges really fast, and that's why we'll be doing more reviews on this car, and I'll give you a new video coming out soon explaining some of the charging experiences I've had. 30 minutes it actually took to then go on to 100% and done, finished, can't do any more. And so it's now unplugged. The Tesla Model 3 is now 34 minutes have passed and you've just gone over 90%. Well, you're now 92%, just hit 93%. So the Model 3, it's gone to 93%. I'm 100% done and already unplugged a minute or two ago. So impressive, I think you'll agree. And I've actually had faster charging with this car. I've gone from 15% up to 100% in not much longer. So keep an eye out for that other video on our channel soon. In the meantime, I've won this challenge and I'm going home. Bye-bye, boys. Have a good Friday evening. I'll be home nice and early, won't I? What takeaway? Curry, Chinese? I don't know. Challenge winner. Look at that, 100% charged, and I'm off. I know Gintz with his earphones can still hear me because I'm still wearing the microphone, but I'm off. See you later. Thanks everyone for watching. I still like Tesla, don't get me wrong, we've still got them. They're still fast. Let's get this into context. They're very fast charging and very capable cars, but today I stand victorious. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye. So, was that a surprise result? I think for a lot of people it probably was. And that's what I've been saying. I said this E-Tron really is convincing. Now, different cases, different purposes. The Tesla no doubt is more efficient and it goes, well, the Model 3 long range goes further to a charge. Yep, totally. But, you know, that shows just how convincing, as long as you can get fast charging and more importantly through the battery, you can easily compete even against a Tesla. So a surprise result for some, I'm sure. I hope it was interesting, made the most of the opportunity, and I still have Teslas, so don't worry, I'm not anti-Tesla, I'm very much for a Tesla. They make it a lot easier, but this E-Tron really is a good car. So more videos to come on this car soon. In the meantime, I'm going to give my wife a plug. It's a bit shameless, but it's my video, so why not? If you need to buy a gift, a present, or you'd like some artwork, have a look at her Instagram site, Little Things I've Made, or website littlethingsivemade.co.uk. Very talented artist, loads of great value gifts for friends and family, so anything you've got coming up, worth a look. Please do follow her on Instagram, Little Things I've Made. Whilst we're also here, I will say that our chosen charity is a charity based in Oxford called Seesaw, and if you have an opportunity to donate money to a charity, please consider Seesaw. In the meantime, I hope you are following us on our own Instagram and Facebook pages at rsimons_ltd, and Twitter as well, and TikTok as well sometimes, where we post lots of bits and pieces and daily storyboards of everything we're doing. But for now, I hope that was useful, made the most of a Friday afternoon, and we'll see you on the next video.